I've spent the better part of the riding season on the Xtrada 6. And during that time, I've spent it riding with a rigid seat post. As someone who considers the dropper one of the great inventions in mountain biking, this was out of character. But I wanted to go old school for a while and challenge myself. Having the ability to lower the seat at the flip of a lever has its advantages, especially when there are jumps, drops, and technical terrain involved.
Suspension.
I think a dropper will really wake up this bike. So let's get one installed. If you watched my long-term review of the bike, you know that it has internal cable routing. But one of my gripes was the routing of the rear brake through the right side internal port instead of the left side, which is where you would normally route your rear brake. Unless you're from the UK, that is. So we're going to fix that. We're going to double up the shifter cable and the rear brake line through the left port. So first we're going to disconnect the derailleur cable. This will make it easier to move the brake line and properly install the rubber grommet. Next is to reroute the brake hose. This one's a little tricky. I can't pull the hose through because the connecting bolt, which is this piece, is too big to fit through the port. So I'll have to cut it and install a new barb and olive. Plenty of room. Luckily, there was plenty of hose length. So that ½ inch or so that I cut still left plenty of hose to work with. With the shifter and brake rerouted, I needed to modify one of the rubber grommets to fit the two lines. I decided to drill an extra hole in one of the grommets. The result was less than ideal, so I got an idea. I bought a set of hollow punches. People use these on leather belts and various crafts, so maybe this will get me a nice clean round hole. The derailleur cable housing is 4 mm and the brake hose is 5 mm. So I used the appropriately sized punch for each. The result was okay, but since I mangled it earlier with the drill, it was harder to get a clean punch. We definitely introduced air into the brake, so a bleed is in order. A Shimano bleed is fairly easy if you don't follow Shimano's instructions. Now that we're rerouted and bled, it was time to install the dropper. I chose the ETen I Dropper. For the dropper lever, I chose an inexpensive lever off Amazon by a company called BEYST. It costs $24. I've used these on other bikes and it's a pretty reliable and smooth lever. And that's it. Interesting thing about this dropper, it's a 100 mm dropper post. It's short by today's standards, but it works perfectly in this frame. The longest drop post I've seen on a 27.2 mm dropper has been 120 mm. If you were thinking of a 150 mm dropper for this bike, you will likely not need it. The geometry of the frame gets the saddle out of the way no problem. I guess this is why you don't second guess the engineering. I left links to the dropper and all the parts and tools used in the video in the description. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining. If so, please give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing and it makes me happy. So what do you think of this setup? Oh yeah, one more thing. Let's do a quick breakdown of the cost. The KS dropper, $104. The lever, $24. The replacement barb and olive, about $6. Shimano bleed kit, $20. The hollow punch set, $10. So for a total cost of $164, not at all bad. Because for that cost, you still have a bleed kit and hole punches you can use for other projects. As far as bang for the buck goes on the Xtrada, I think this might be the best. I hope you enjoyed this leg of my journey. Thanks for watching.